Greetings, everybody. Catechism in 40 days. We are now moving to the next section of the Catechism, which deals with the seven sacraments. We will be talking about the seven sacraments, each individual sacrament, beginning tomorrow with the first sacrament of baptism. Today, I would just like to speak briefly about, in general, what a sacrament is. So the great classic definition of a sacrament here is that it is an outward sign that is instituted by Jesus Christ in order to communicate grace. So there are those key elements there, that it's an external sign. I'll say it again, that Christ set up himself in order to be a way of transmitting and communicating and giving us grace. Grace being his life, the saving disposition of belonging to God. So anyhow, that's a classic definition. An external sign of an inward reality, put even more simply. So this is important for us to know, as a very helpful operative definition of what a sacrament is. To claim even that Jesus Christ instituted them is important. These aren't instituted by the church subsequent, sort of after the fact. Sort of some guys came up with a great idea that we're going to cook up some sacraments, so to speak. I'll use the term just in order to emphasize that is exactly not something that's an invention of anyone other than Jesus Christ. And so we claim and we identify Christ as the one who instituted the sacraments. They can be there. You can indicate them by their outward signs. So there's always something manifest and something evident and external about each of the sacraments. They are, in other words, they're not sort of utterly invisible, only purely spiritual realities that are entirely interior, and only imminent to the individual person. If that were the case, there wouldn't be any way of being able to identify any of them. But no, Jesus Christ spotted these sacraments and indicated for us how they are to be, their express nature, their evident nature, the outward nature of the sacrament, which means that they can be shared and they can be indicated, they can be identified and participated in and communicated, and they can be done so in a way which is common and universal, that we all have in common. Good. So it's an outward sign instituted by Jesus Christ, and the purpose of them isn't just to make us feel good. Isn't a small purpose of just to be yet still another way for us to find ourselves close to the Lord. No, it's the purpose is radical and fundamental as the life of grace, as in order to communicate to us nothing less than the saving grace. This status, the state of sanctification, of sanctifying grace, the grace by which we become truly and really holy, as opposed to sort of remaining outside and apart and distinct and separate from God. Grace is precisely the gift of God, which brings us directly into his life, the life of God, the life of the children of God, which is the freedom that he purchased for us through his suffering and death, which is why he came to begin with. So Once again, to recap, an outward sign instituted by Jesus Christ in order to give us grace. We'll talk about how each of the sacraments do this, but just wanted to lay it down. I mean I mean we know what signs are. I mean we see signs all the time when we're driving down the street and we see a stop sign. It's there. It's on the side of the road. It's typically positioned in about the same spot wherever you encounter it, on that right-hand side at the very close and near to the intersection. And it's typically a standard height, more or less. I mean, the state or the county that establishes these signs has to make sure that they put them at a very predictable and understandable height, that it's properly posted. And that it's octagonal, and that it's red, and the letters in the middle are clear. The 4 STOP letters are clear and easily seen in bright white letters, and that way everybody knows. So that if you blow through it, or if you get busted by the cops for failing to stop, you can't say it wasn't because it wasn't clearly posted. So the point is that everybody knows what the sign is, and everybody knows that octagonal red 4-letter communication, STOP, what it means. It means that the approaching vehicle is to come to a complete halt at the white line that's corresponding on the pavement immediately in front. So all of that is communicated. All that information is communicated by that signal, by that sign. Same thing goes for the signal at the stoplight. I mean, even if it's not a stop sign, the stop sign is pretty easily what's being communicated, because the word itself is indicated right there. A stop light, however, is probably even a little more symbolic, in that it's merely a blink. What does a blinking, or what does a solid red light have to do with bringing a vehicle to a stop? Well, when it's situated immediately underneath a yellow and a green light, we know that means that we had better stop. Otherwise, if we proceed, we might get T-boned by the car approaching. We know how signs work. Signs they indicate and they communicate important truths. The signs of the sacraments, the 7 sacraments, not only indicate and communicate truth. They communicate the truth and the reality itself, which is for us life, and even eternal life, which is how we finished the previous article of the Creed at the concluding article of the last section of the Creed, life everlasting. This is exactly what's communicated in the sacraments. Okay, I think that's a good enough introduction just to make sure you know how they work. We'll talk about each of the 7 sacraments in turn, beginning with baptism with the next one. If this is helpful, let me know. Just want to give you a good basic definition of a sacrament.